Friends tell me that all of these shooting victims knew each other. In fact, White's final tweet said here, "Rest in peace, Skinny."
Investigator, I'm mindful to the geography, I'm mindful to the ages, and it's something that I'm going to explore.
Toronto police did not have much
Four
to say about the
teenagers
act
have
of violence
died
itself.
in just
They do
a
have a
1
very
kilometer radius of this community here in Jane and Finch, which is notorious for its crime. These two victims, two close boys.
St. Francis de Sales School as well.
The innocent kids, they set examples. They live by example. Their parents are great mom, great dad.
So this ministry is located in Toronto, North York, and it's in the Jane and Finch area. Jane and Finch is a cross intersection in the northwest part of Toronto in the Jane and Finch community. Before this job as pastor, I was an IT business analyst for a Fortune 500 company. I did that for 5 years before I felt called to this job here in the community. My name is Olu Jegede. I'm a lead pastor of Christian Center Church. It's a local church here in the Jane and Finch community of Toronto. So I chose this line of work, I'd say because of my faith value. Obviously, the need really touched me as well. This community is in a low-income area, and so I was volunteering as a student, and even in my first few years when I was working in the IT field, I was volunteering here as a youth mentor, youth sponsor. And I just got to see, I attended the drop-in programs that was running, and a lot of kids come from single-parent families, and they live in low-income housing. That was back then and still is the case today. So I just felt, hey, let me jump in. And so just serving as a volunteer, no plans to make this a profession. But I guess as I spent time with them, I got hooked. I fell in love. I felt I could do this because I am doing this. I was spending 15 to 20 hours of my discretionary time mentoring, counseling, just being here, hanging out. So I really felt that it was something I could do. And then when the opportunity came 5 years into me working and volunteering, I decided to take that plunge into the faith-based world and become a pastor. our church is laid back. One of our core values is simplicity, and our people are just laid back. It's a come as you are kind of vibe. Some people dress up, some people don't. Some single parent families, some seniors who are sort of on a minimum kind of retirement budget. And so we have a little bit of everybody here. We have quite a lot of young men that are under 25, because we have a vibrant young people's ministry here. That's a culture of our people. And also in terms of, disparity, some have high net worth. Also, they care deeply, whether it's cooking for our seniors once a month, or just someone passed away and everybody shows up at the funeral, even if it's out of town. So our church culture is one that really cares for people. So Tuesday we meet first thing in the morning, and so we have an agenda that we follow. We review the highlight of the week, which was a Sunday service, but also some events. Maybe we might have had a special outreach, a kids carnival on the Saturday. So any sort of thing that happened the last week, we review it. And then we look at upcoming calendar events, and then we also plan the major events for that week, which would be the midweek program and also the Wednesday night sort of family night. We have mentoring, teaching, programming, and then we also have this is the next Sunday service. We also have a Saturday night service here at this church. So we plan the agenda for those ones, what announcements that we're going to share with the people. And also we take time to sort of hear from each other. How are you doing in your responsibility, in your work, any issues? What do you need from the team? So each person gets a chance to share as well. So once a week I take a day off, which sounds like a little, but for me it's a shutdown day. I do nothing. I sleep in, I might maybe go on a date with my wonderful wife, or go watch my eldest son play basketball. So my days off is typically on Mondays, and they're a bit of a sacred thing. So it's like I have a holiday every week, and then I have a secondary day that I could also take off. It's on a Saturday. Sometimes we have events, so that doesn't always work out. But I look forward to my day off where I just crash. Also, we do go away. Me and my wife, every couple of months, we might take a weekend to go somewhere. So that is really helpful in terms of me recharging. I do have a daily rhythm of reflecting, meditating, and praying scripture. It's not always the same thing, but it's definitely a consistent time every day where I can just reflect on kind of that I am God's child, that I'm doing this for this reason, and that I need to be filled. I need to be sort of recuperated so that I can go out there for another day. I've been offered a position multiple times to go to different Christian organizations, whether it's to another church, whether it's a church of a similar size, a bigger church. So I left my computer job 22 years ago. And in those 22 years, it's only been once that I've thought, I'm done. That was a very low point in my ministry. I wasn't the lead pastor at that time. And I was facing some pressures internally with other staff members, and I really considered quitting. Other than that, I've never considered leaving this line of work. I love it. And even those offers that were offered to me to go to other organizations, I took it seriously, but it wasn't a serious consideration at the end of the day when I looked at the fact that there's so much of my goals here that hasn't been accomplished, and I do have a lot of support from my family. My wife is one of my huge support system, and so we just felt continue to be here because many of those opportunities, what attracts me to them, they're also all found right here. So the hardest part of my job is actually people. It's dealing with people. So people on all levels, people, the inner circle, my staff. I have a diverse staff, just not just looking diverse, also from different continents. And so just kind of balancing everybody's personality. I'm more of a collaborative leader. So I'd like to kind of get the consensus of the group. And sometimes that's hard, right? I do have to make calls from time to time, but really trying to get people on the same page. So that's always hard because you never get everybody perfectly on the same page. Also, I think it's hard just dealing with our constituents. I know that when I started as a pastor here over 20 years ago, I just had lots of expectations that people would show up on time for church or programs, and that people will keep their word. But I've been disappointed. People that you poured into won't leave without at least giving you a long notice. But people just, you pour into them for years and they disappear and they go to the next church just because, not even because they left the city. So just disappointments from people. And then I guess to maybe even sometimes myself sometimes think looking inwards where, sometimes I also find out that I'm not always able to achieve my goals. So that is hard in terms of just keeping myself also encouraged when I'm discouraged, so I'd say people all around. So during our time here at the church, me and my family, but personally, I've experienced some losses, and I think it's mostly related to people. I think of mentors, former, pastors that have mentored me, and they've moved on. And so that's always difficult when someone that you've grown close to, they've been your mentor, your boss, in some sense, even a spiritual parent, they move on. And so, but that has also provided opportunity for growth and promotion. But definitely do miss, a particular couple of key ones that really impacted me. But similarly, thinking about just people transition, it's been hard when, we have seen whether it's young people that I've mentored and who choose to forsake the faith, and they choose not to maybe not only come to our church anymore, they're not going to any church, and some of them have ended up on the wrong side of the law, and so that's always hard. Some have made it, and many have made it, but just when you see the ones that haven't, but also close friends that maybe we started out together, they move on, they relocate to another part of Toronto or the world, or friends who have become family. And when they move on, because the church is a family, when they move on, it's been, I remember even just my wife and I over the years, we've cried tears because families have moved on, and it's been really hard for us. I see our organization in 10 years just expanding in two dimensions, the spiritual and also the practical. In the spiritual sense, we would love to have a couple of other satellites or maybe church plants. Right now, we're more of a hub or maybe like a main center, but we would like to be more of a hub where we can plant other churches in other parts of the GTA that are not as well served, and take some of our DNA to go into maybe a church in Queen East, downtown Toronto, or maybe in Oshawa, in some inner city area of Oshawa, and still have that inner city DNA where we come, we relocate there, and we serve in a grassroots organic fashion, liaisoning with community, agencies there, schools, but also from a faith church perspective, just bringing worship and serving the community. So we'd love to see that happen. Always wanted us to be a real strong, advocate for mental health. And with the mental health crisis, loneliness, and other issues are huge today. And we do a little bit in our church. We have some consulting counselors that work with us. And I think we need to peel back the curtain and really realize that it starts from when people are young. So we want to do mentorship, coaching, and some of the things we do right now. But we want to develop a clear leadership process, pipeline, train people on integrity, character, business development, mentorship, coaching, and always how do you succeed in sort of the workforce, in the real world, not just as a teenager, but as a young man or a young woman. So I think what we are doing at Christian Center Church has made a huge impact, and I think of a couple of anecdotes. I think of a young woman who I knew at the age of 15 and now at the age of 30, and she was sharing in kind of an interview session like this as to how the church had impacted her life, coming from a single-parent family and finding a home, finding faith, finding mentorship, and how now she's become a registered nurse. And really she trailed how the church was there in key moments, whether it's someone who came to a basketball game that she had, or somebody who was able to help them financially, or somebody who prayed with them or who inspired them. And so that's big, and at least I believe that's big. But also I'm thinking somewhat from the outside. We had our 50th church anniversary celebration a couple weeks ago, and we had somebody from the national denomination that we're part of came, and at the end of it we went out for coffee, and he said, just looking at how your church and your people, just the warmth and the community, and the renovations, the outreaches, and everyone that I talked to individually, not coerced, they all had great things to say about what your church has meant to them over the years. And some of them don't even go here anymore, but they came for the anniversary celebration. So it's a good thing when you hear from an outsider about the impact that they sense when they came to your church. So those are maybe two anecdotes that I wanted to share.
My name is Danesh Mahimwala. I attend Christian Center Church. I've been attending Christian Center Church for over 15 years now. So Olu's leadership has impacted the community in a really tangible way, in the fact that Christian Center Church is a very grassroots church. It's an inner city church. And so it's not just in terms of people coming in and listening into a sermon, but really being able to reach out and connect with those in the community. Olu is a really grassroots minister where while he has been able to help people just in terms of their faith walk, he's also been able to help in very tangible ways. So many times when people face an illness, or if people, have something going on in their lives, Olu's one of the first ones to know and respond to those types of situations with every family. So he's a very present member in this community, and I feel that has gone really far in being able to extend Christian Center's heart to what the community really has to offer.
The church that I attend is Christian Center Church, and I have been there for over 22 years. One of the fond memory that I can remember is just being a youth and having Pastor Olu, his leadership. Like when I think about Pastor Olu with the church, I think about stability. Like because we have seen different change in the leadership. Olu is the one that has been constant. Pastor Olu has been the one, the glue that brings people together.
So my name is Norma Gibbs Small. I have been attending. April coming will be 25 years. Pastor Olu I see him as a visionary. In his days working with the young people, I saw him as a steward. He built on what he was handed to. There was so much responsibility as a young man with a family, but he took it on and allowed God to lead him. He's a builder. He and Jen, they have a heart for people. They open their homes to people. You can always go there. And you don't find that in the Christian community. Where sharing and building relationships is very important.
So I believe church matters greatly today. And if somebody were to wonder, should I go to church, in this age? And, does faith really matter? I know that what we do here really, really makes a difference. We got a plaque that was given to us at the House of Commons by our Member of Parliament that presented it to the entire nation, really in Parliament, and said that we want to thank Pastor Olu and Christian Center Church because of the work they do in the Jane and Finch community. Now, I mentioned that to say that I believe the church is the only organization that basically continue to work for the good of humanity without any selfish motive. The government has to do what they need to do. The companies and corporations have to make profit. And we elect our politicians to do a job, and if they don't, we get them out of there. But the church is there to continue to bring hope in the name of Christ to humanity. And churches will go to ghettos. Churches will go to slums in the name of God. Think of Mother Teresa, Christians, and the churches that sponsored her. And churches will continue to do the little and the mundane and the insignificant. Not for any fame, not for money, but really for the love of humanity in the name of God. So church matters because today more than ever, people are alone. Loneliness is a global pandemic, actually. It's an epidemic. And so that's one of the serious issues that we have to face, where people's mental health are at an all-time low. So the church is needed for the hope of humanity. And this is why we're here. I believe one person can make an impact. I know wise people have said, be the change that you want to see. And other similar statements, right? Michael Jackson, want to make a change, the man in the mirror, right? So one person can make a change. And what comes to mind is that mother or that parent they're not concerned about, changing the company necessarily or changing the world, because at home, they're just that one, the power of one. And you can influence that child. And if you can influence that child, that's huge, because they can also influence somebody else, and they can influence somebody else, and this is the power of the domino effect. So one person can make a global, powerful change. And Mother Teresa said, small acts, but with great love. Small acts, that's only one person. That's all it takes. Small acts, but with great love. You can change the world. That's all I have to say.
Looking back, I know they probably doubt me. Now the city on my back, I wear it proudly. I'm a hero in the making. If I'm dreaming, you can't wake me. I think I'm destined to win it. They playing games, I ain't in it. Yeah, yeah. I took the message and sent it. Felt like I was born for this minute. This is my time. I'm seizing the moment, cause I gotta go for the time's gone. Ain't scared of the dark, cause I'm bringing the light when the night's long. I shine on. See it coming, I don't need a sign. This the moment, I'ma make it mine. This is